If you haven't heard, Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor distributes your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Growed Up, the show where I talk to you, my friend or guest friend, about what it is like to be an adult versus what we thought it would be like when we were children. For those of you who don't know me and this is your first time coming across me, my name is Fernanndo. I'm your friend and host. And for you who is a returning listener and subscriber, hello friend, welcome back. But before we get into anything, I'd like you guys to please click on the subscribe button wherever it is that you're listening to this podcast, Apple Podcasts, Google, Amazon, Overcast, wherever it is. Just follow, subscribe, share so that we can grow and let everyone know that we are bonding on the traumas of adulthood. Okay? We are bonding on the traumas of adulthood, guys. Like, hey, I am so, there's something that I actually want to share with you guys, right? I don't know how many of you followed, there's this YouTuber called Kevin Samuels who passed away recently, I think last week, Thursday. R.I.P. to Mr. Samuels and, condolences to his family. But there's something extremely fascinating about his passing that is it's very interesting. And that is that, why do we feel like our opinions are why we really think like that our opinions are so important now? Because, there's a lot of people who obviously didn't like his content. They didn't like the way he spoke. He was very cutthroat. He was very straightforward. So for those of you who don't know him, just go check him out on YouTube, Kevin Samuels, and he spoke a lot about, self-improvement, and his audience was mainly, the Black American audience, men and women and so forth, I didn't care much for his approach. It didn't really offend me because a lot of what he said, I kind of, I agreed. At some point, I felt it was repetitive. He was saying the same thing, but now just saying it in different ways and in more cutthroat ways, I guess, if we may say that way. But people really didn't like him. And I'm very surprised at how, I don't know, I just feel like if you don't have anything nice to say, you don't really need to say anything, But I guess this is the internet. We are here and we're exposing ourselves for criticism, whether we are dead or alive. But I'm just fascinated at how people are so invested in making sure that they still speak badly about him even after death. I'm not saying you should pretend like he was a saint or like you loved him or anything else or anything like that, but damn, it's just a lot of energy, man. But anyways, just a little bit of a side note, a little bit of a vent over there from my side. But, I hope you guys are good. I hope you all had a good week. I had a good week. Today's 11 May. It is my baby's birthday, guys. My son is turning 11. Oh, he's turned 11 today. It's his crown birthday. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. I was, I've been kind of reliving this time since Friday. Today's a Wednesday. Yeah, since Friday, because initially he was due for the 15th of May, and then I got, God knows, I forgot the name of that thing, but it's that thing that makes your feet swell up when you're pregnant, and it's some pregnant woman situation, And I got that. So then they're like, we're not gonna wait anymore, you gotta go in on the 10th. And they scheduled me for the 10th, and we went to the hospital on the 10th, and there were issues with the setup of the hospital. And my dad is like, I don't like it. So the doctor's like, fine, come back tomorrow. And tomorrow was today, and it was a Wednesday. 11 years ago, I gave birth to my heaven. I'm so proud of him. I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy to see him so happy. You know, I just love that boy. I love him. But, anyways, now, my friend, I want to talk to you about something that I think we all have thought about in our childhood at some point or another, and that is marriage. Okay? Marriage. Guys, I forgot to bring my water and I'm very irritated by this fact, but I shall continue. I don't know why my mouth is watering so much, but I forgot to bring some water. But anyways, marriage, guys. What did you think marriage was like when you were a child? I'll tell you what I thought. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was the coolest thing, and I couldn't wait to do it. I couldn't wait to become a wife and have 3 babies and become a doctor and have my own car and drive and be a pediatrician. And I can't remember what my fantasy has. I don't think I had like a fantasy image of like what I wanted my husband to be, but that's kind of like what I knew. I just knew that a man and a woman would get together and be married and have babies and live together forever. You know, I didn't really understand, obviously, the nuances and stuff, but was marriage something that I've always wanted? Yes, it is definitely something that I've always wanted since being a little girl. I guess that's kind of cliche, but I mean, I'm a 1988 little child. So obviously in the 90s, that's how we're playing, and these are the things that we wanted and that we played about and fantasized about. So yeah, man, marriage, it is something that I've wanted, but there's certain things that in getting married, I learned that I think people are losing sight of before getting into this commitment. But also there's something that I feel like is become such a sad trend, which is people are putting a lot of investment and time into the wedding. You prepare so much for the wedding, and I think maybe that's the childhood image I had. I had more of a wedding, more over a marriage picture in my head. I didn't have a picture of a marriage, but I had that wedding picture, and I guess my house or whatever. But I find it that even at this age, adults are just so invested in that wedding and forgetting that, girl, you said till death do us part. What does this entail? So here are a few pointers of things that I think everybody should know before they even decide that they want to get married. These are the things that you should consider. You know, they are on the surface very simple, but I feel like if you, Milo, what are you doing? The dog is here, by the way. Milo is here, so he's busy scratching my carpet. I don't appreciate it. I don't. But anyways, he's there doing his thing. So, like I was saying, these things on the surface seem very like duh. But I'm going to try to dive a little bit deeper into them just so we can have a little bit more context and a little bit more, understanding of why are these concepts very important to consider before you say I do to anybody, anyone. Okay? But first, dude, you need to shut up. You need to shut up or I will kick you out. Tapping his cell on the carpet. All right. First things first. Number one, and this is a very big slap in the face, but it is very true. Your spouse is not responsible for your happiness. All right? Your spouse is not responsible for your happiness. I say this because your spouse is human, just like you are. All right? And they are bound to mess up and make you sad, right? So you need to understand that and not place your happiness or the responsibility for your happiness on this one person, all right? So that means you need to first know what makes you happy. What are the things that make you happy? I can tell you that Sometimes I still struggle with this, but I've recently found that, if I'm feeling down or if I'm feeling a ways, it's a very cliche, but listening to music really calms me. It balances me. It grounds me. It just realigns my energies in a way that I can rationalize whatever emotion I'm feeling at the time, whether it's happiness or sad or whatever. I can experience it and rationalize it and deal with it and find my relief in it. All right. So music makes me happy. Another thing is working out. Many times, many days, I don't feel like working out. And sometimes I'll go days on end without working out. But I do know that once I decide that I'm going to do this, I never regret it. Always. I even tell my husband this. I say, I'm always so shocked at how efficient exercising is for me in boosting my mood and making me happy and making me feel proud of myself and making me feel like I've achieved something in that day, even though I haven't done anything. But if I can just carry my weights and just push a little further, I feel very, very content and I feel happy with myself. And in those moments, I can't rely on him because he's busy, whether he's busy with work, whether he's even taking his own time for himself. So I can't always turn on him and say, or turn to him and say, you need to make me happy, sir. I'm unhappy. It's your time to fix it. So it's not your partner's responsibility, okay? To make you happy. You are responsible for your own happiness. And also, in order for you to know what makes you happy, you need to know what makes you unhappy. Okay? What makes you unhappy is what you're going to communicate to this person as well. You will say this and this and this makes me happy. I don't like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You need to tell them what are the things that bother you, what are the things that make you unhappy, so that you voice them and that you've made precautions or you've made sure that somebody is at least aware that if they do this, they are making you unhappy. But you will know exactly what to do to make yourself happy again. Or happy, I guess, is a very permanent and a very long-term word. I can't think of a more I'd say content, but what brings you peace? What makes you calm? What makes you feel good? All right. So you need to know what does the opposite in order for you to know what to do for you to feel better. Okay. And you need to know what does makes you feel better so that you can tell your partner, nigga, you're fucking up. I don't like it. Because it's your responsibility to speak up when something that makes you unhappy is happening. So you speak up. You say, I don't like this. All right. So that is point number 1. Your spouse is not responsible for your happiness. You are. You need to know what makes you happy and you need to know what makes you unhappy. Number 2, assumption is the mother of all fuck ups. Miss Unique, my friend, she always said this at school. Assumption is the mother of all fuck ups. Why is this a very important thing for you to know in a marriage? Because neither of you are mind readers. What does that mean? It means that if you have something in your heart, if you want something to happen, you need to communicate. You can't assume that this person will know. Okay? There's no room for expectations in a relationship. You need to say exactly what it is that you want. You need to say exactly what it is that you are feeling. You need to say exactly what it is that is going wrong or what is going well, so that the person who is with you can know what your state of mind is at that time. All right. So don't assume that your partner will know what you want. Don't assume that they will know what you're feeling. You have to speak. You have to speak. You also need to know what you want. When you know what you want, you can communicate what you want, right? I want some time alone. I need you to take the children, pack a suitcase, go to your mother's house for a weekend. That's what I want. You tell them. You don't expect them to know. You don't assume that they should know. You tell them. That way, you know that they know what you want. And you will be able to communicate what you want because you yourself knows what you want. All right? Learn how to communicate with your partner. Learn not to be a bitch about everything. Okay. You don't need to be harsh like the tone that I used previously. You need to take your children and go all the way to your mother's house. You don't need to say that. You can say, listen, baby, I'm tired. I'm overwhelmed. I don't get a break. Is it possible for you guys to, maybe take a week? Learn how to communicate with your partner. Learn how to approach situations with your partner. Read the room, read their mood, because sometimes they are not in a good space. Learn to read what they're going, you know. I'm not saying know what they're going through, but you can sense if you know somebody. You're supposed to be with somebody that you kind of know, right? So you know, like, that's a grumpy person. So I'm not going to bring this up now. I'll bring this up at another time. Or if I bring this up now, even though they're feeling this way, I know how things are going to go and blah, blah, blah. So, but just learn how to communicate what you want to your partner. Don't communicate in a way as though you think that they should know, kind of like in, baby, I'm feeling crappy today. And you'll be like, why? It's like, I don't want to talk about it. Or whatever it is that people do. I can't think of a concrete example, but there are ways in which you need to know how to communicate what you want from your partner. And lastly, on this point, you need to understand what your partner's limitations are and find ways to accept them. All right? What does this mean? Sometimes you want something, you expect something, but that person is unable to provide that for you, no matter how much they want to. All right? For as much as I would love to drive, I can't. So my husband needs to understand that limitation, that no matter how much you'd want me to do this, he has to accept the fact that I can't. There are certain things that I want from my husband, but he cannot provide those things because those are his limitations. I just need to decide, can I live the rest of my life with those limitations, or is that a deal breaker? But don't hold those limitations against them. Accept them, because that's a part of who they are. That's what makes them who you love. That's what makes them your desired life partner. Okay? Their limitations. All you need to do about them is accept them. That also means don't come with expectations on things that you know they can't provide. That's unfair. That is selfish. That is wrong. All right? So that is it for number 2. Assumption is the mother of all fuck ups. Number 3, almost everybody's favorite, money talks. All right? Money. Y'all's got to talk about money. If you guys are still dating, don't tie up your money. Don't tie up your money. If you want to start a business together, that's fine, but find a way to make it that your money and your shit is protected. Your partner needs to do the same. Find a way that if you guys are living together, your money is not yet tied up. Don't tie up your money. All right? That's when you're dating. But now, before you get married, what should you know about money? 1, how does your partner make money? It's a very straightforward and a simple thing, but it's a very important. How does your partner make money? Because sometimes a lot of people get trapped in situations where they're like, I thought he did this, or I thought she did this for work. But no, dude, no. No. Like I said, I thought he did this, or I thought she did this for work, and you get there and you're in trouble because now you don't know how your partner made that money. Sometimes you have more money than what you should have. Other times you have less money than what you should have because you don't know how your partner is making this mullah. Let me just open for this stock. Because you are getting on my nerves. Leave. Bye. That's the dog. I don't know who he's barking at, but he's out. My Lolo is out. All right, so know how your partner makes money, okay? What's their job description? What do they do? And what does it entail? Whatever it is that they do, how does that entail? Or how does that translate to money. All right. Number two, how do they spend their money? What do they prioritize with this money? Like, hey, okay, cool, I got my salary. What is the first thing that they spend their money on? That's a very telling thing because it shows you what's important. Is it growth? Is it leisure? Is it entertainment? Is it party? Is it social? Is it personal? Is it family? Whatever it is that they spend their money on, or however it is that they spend their money, is an extremely telling way or extremely telling thing about what your partner is like. All right. So you need to know, how do they spend their money? Do they overspend? Do they underspend? Are they stingy? Hmm? Are they stingy? Because even though they have like a lot of money, you're gonna have to sit there and be like, yo, this guy's so stingy, bruh. Like I always have to like beg. If I don't beg, then I have to make my own money to get this or that. So you kind of need to know that, all right? Because like I think your relationship with money is a huge part of your personality and your character and your principles are, I think money kind of reveals a lot of that. Okay. And how do they behave when they have money? How do they behave when they don't have money? Two different people. Sometimes, not everybody, and I wouldn't say the majority, but a lot of people are very different when they have money than when they don't have money. You need to know that person. You need to know whether when they have money, now he becomes more or she becomes more intolerant. She becomes more disrespectful. When she doesn't have money, she's more detached. She spends more time away from the house. He starts hanging out more with his friends. He starts spending more on his family. He starts bragging a little bit more. His attitude changes. Now his chest is pumped up. She starts dressing nicer. She starts doing her hair a little bit more often, but not just because she has money to do it, but it's because she's not even spending that much money or time at home. But then when they don't have money, she's a little bit more humble. She's more conservative. Her tone changes. She's more respectful. He is more loving. He's more attentive. He's more present. He's not on his phone as often. Okay. She's always home in the weekend. She's not on the phone as often. You need to know, when does this person switch up? Because this is for life, y'all. You're getting married to this person for life. And in a marriage, depending on your situation, money is a come and go thing sometimes. It's not always consistent. Sometimes you have, sometimes you don't. Other people consistently have, other people don't. Who is this person in either scenario, when or like when there is money or when there isn't? You got to know that person, okay? And what is their relationship with debt? How often do they borrow? Do they borrow from people? Do they pay back the people that they borrow from? How often do they borrow from the banks? How clean is their credit? Do they pay back comfortably their money? Do they borrow just for leisure or luxury? Or do they borrow for necessity? And they are wise about their debt. What is that debt relationship with your partner? If they are saving up, what are they saving up to do? To put a down payment on a house, to put a down payment on a luxury car. Big difference, okay? So you got to know, what do they prioritize and what would they go into debt for? What is their relationship with debt? All right? So those are the four things that I can think of regarding things to look into and talk about money. What is your thing? And also, let's say now we're in a situation where we can't afford anything. We can't, we're not having jobs and stuff. What are you willing to do for money? How much of yourself, how much of your principle, or how much of their character are they willing to compromise in order to bring in money? What is your partner willing to do for money? You need to know that as well. All right. So that is number 3, money talks. Number 4, you need to align your desires. All right. Align your desires. What exactly does that mean? Many times, like I said earlier, most girls have these dreams of, oh, I want to be a wife, I want to be a, and We have this dream of like, I want to have 4 kids, or I want to have 3 kids, 20, 50 children, or whatever. But over time, that number changes and stuff. So, what is your partner's desire in that case? You need to talk about the things that you want, all right? Discuss what you want, how many children you want. Do you even want children? How do you want to raise these kids? All right? If they're a girl, would you raise your girl different to your boy? All right. Will you be kinder to the girl? You be harder on the boy. You need to know these things. What does your partner view parenting as? Sexual needs. What are these persons say? How high is your libido compared to my libido? How often do you want to have sex versus how often I want to have sex? What are the things that you want to do in the bedroom? Am I willing to give you those things? How often am I willing to give them to you? And are you satisfied with me giving you just that ever often? Do you need it more than what you get, and all those stuff? You need to discuss in depth. It's not just, I want sex twice a day, 3 times a day, or I want sex 3 times a day, 7 days a week. It's not just about that. What do you want? What's your kink? What's in your head? Do you understand? What are the things that you expect me to do? And can I do those things for you? And is it okay if I don't do them for you? Are you okay with me not doing them? And don't go out there trying to get it from someone else. What if I will compromise and say, fine, I'm going to give it, once, twice a year, whatever it might be. All right. So it's very important for you to discuss that. Your career. What is your dream? Who do you want to be? What did you study? To become what? And then life took over, and now you cannot be a lawyer. Now you are, doing, let's say, social work. What is your plan? Are you thinking that you might ever want to do a career change? Are you the type of person to, in the future, maybe potentially decide to do a career change? Are you the type of woman that could potentially in the future decide to, you know, uh, decide to, I don't want to be a working woman anymore. I want to be a stay-at-home mom. Are you willing to make these sacrifices if push comes to shove? Let's say we can't send our kid to school, but we need someone to stay home and homeschool them. Would you be willing to quit your job to stay home with the kids? All these little tiny things, what are you willing to do? What are you most likely to do in the future? Not that you will or not that you won't, but is it a possibility? Is this something that I can expect? You know, that you might change your mind about. All right. Financial goals. How rich do you want to be? Are you trying to be a Bill Gates? Are you trying to be a Elon Musk, or are you just wanting to be little Brenda here and have a little farm? Do you want to live in a mansion? What type of home do you see yourself in? Like, what are your financial goals? What are you working towards? How much time are you putting into your financial goals? Attention. How much attention do you need from your partner? I need you to call me 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times a day. I need you to tell me I love you every day. I need you to give me a good night kiss every night before I go to bed. I need you to give me a good morning hug every day before I go to work. Whatever it is, what is it that you want? Attention, how do you want it? Okay, do you want a kinky picture every now and again? All these things. No, know whether your desires in these things align, because you don't want to do something that you have to do just because, you want at least majority of this to be on the same page. You're not always going to be on the same page, but you want to be able to be like, it's not something I'd normally do, but yeah, for you, yeah, I'm willing to do it, and I'll be happy to do it, you know. Another thing to discuss your principles, religion. What are your religious beliefs? If you guys are of opposite religion, how are you guys going to raise the kids? How are you guys going to practice these different religions? Will one have to convert to the next religion, or will the other have to convert with the other religion? Which religion is going to be the dominant one? Sorry, money habits. Okay, I know I bring money interchange consistently, but I think like in different scenarios it plays a little thing, like in how often you buy clothes versus how often you buy something for the house. How often do you prioritize going out with your friends versus you prioritize spending money rather with your friends versus spending money with the family? Do you always have to spend money on takeaways versus this. How do you spend the money? Blah, 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 blah. You guys need to discuss your financial principles, okay? Family values. Do you guys want to sit at night on a dinner table every night? What do you expect? Do you expect the wife to cook and the husband to dish? Do you expect the kids to lay the table or the husband to lay the table? Who's going to help with the chores? Who's going to wash the dishes? And at night, do we say a prayer before we go to bed? Do we say a prayer before we wake up? Do we huddle together and read any book, scientific books, or do we listen to podcasts, or do we watch movies? Do we have once a week holidays, or do we have once a month whatever it is? What are the family values that you guys want to instill? And friendships, your time with your friends. How do you deal with friendships? Do we have friends in the same circle? Do you have your own friends? Do our friends interact? How do we intermingle within our friendships? Okay. So, what are the principles? Do you have friends that I don't like you going out with your single friends. I don't like you partying every weekend with your other married friends. What are the things that you don't want, or what are the things that you want or that you expect out of each other's friendships? Okay. And then lastly on this thing, your retirement plans. What is your vision for your retirement? Okay. Are you envisioning being those old folk on a cruise for like 9 months? You get on a boat and you go just across the world on a cruise? Or are you the type to want to live a more nomadic life? Or do you guys want to live a more extravagant life? What are your plans for your retirement, your lifestyle, your dream house, vacations and all of that stuff? So make sure that your desires in these points are aligned, because this way you guys can dream together and you're building towards something together. Okay, you're not building individually, you're not individually making your own. Your vision board is now it's two, it's one, I mean, so that is number 4. Number 5. This is actually my favorite. Love is a verb and it's not a state of being. What does this mean? Love is a verb, not a state of being. Love is an action. Love is a choice. You don't stay in love. You need to actively work on loving. You need to choose that today I still am in love with you. I still love you. It's a decision that you make day in and day out. Because what that means is that if you think of something that's bothering you, I love you enough to share this with you so that we can work on this together. If something makes you happy, I love you enough to share this with you, to rejoice, because you're not always going to feel in love. You're not always going to feel attracted to your partner. You have to choose those feelings consistently, and it's a lifetime commitment. You have to work on it. Just like anything else, whatever you choose, your career, your friendships, whatever, some days you feel like it, other days you don't. It's the same thing with a marriage. Some days you feel like it, other days you don't. Some days you feel like can I just have my bed to myself? Or can I just have some time? Can I not have to be a wife? You feel like that sometimes. And other days you're so proud to be somebody's wife. You're so proud to be somebody's husband that all you want to do is celebrate that and consistently show them how much you love them. And then 2 weeks from there, you don't feel that way anymore. So you have to choose love. You have to choose to forever love this person. It's a lifetime commitment. That's why you have to work on it. And my way of doing it, the way that I think is more efficient, the way that I think is more helpful, is basically what I like to close the show with, because I'm a big proponent of this. Okay, I think you need to lead with kindness. Kindness is the best expression of love. I say this because when you are kind, kind comes with care. Kind comes with patience and consideration. Kind comes with understanding. So if you look at your partner and you feel kindness towards them, you express kindness, that means that you care about them. You care about their well-being. It's not love. It is not love. This is just basic human interaction. Be kind. When you are kind to your neighbor, you are thoughtful, you are thankful, you are patient, okay? You are caring towards that person. This is what you need to transmit to your partner. You need to be kind to them, you know. Then you'll understand their shortfalls, you understand their mistakes, you understand their strengths, you understand their victories, because you lead with kindness. That's the best way you can show love to your partner. Just be kind to them. It's the most beautiful thing you can do. I would say love, yeah, love, 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 la, la, love, but when you are kind, you see gratitude more. Um, you see contentment more clearly because you are being kind to this person. You're not being aggressive. You're not being forceful. You just be kind. All right. So for number 5, love is a verb. It is not a state of being. Be kind. That's it. Number 6, family matters. This is very important. This is clapping. It's very important. And I'll tell you why. Number 5 is my favorite. Number 6 is, I think it's very important. I believe in the following: honoring your partner by building a healthy relationship with their family. You honor your partner by building a healthy relationship with their family. As a woman, I'm going to speak to women. There's just this constant and common mindset and belief that mother-in-laws and daughters-in-law, they don't get along. It is bullshit. You shouldn't go into a relationship like that thinking that, I'm going there and the family is going to hate me, blah, 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 blah. One thing is fact. No matter where it is that is not your space, things are not always rosy, all right? But if you have respect for your husband's mother, okay, and understand the difference between you and her, the difference is she is his mother. Same way that you might be somebody's mother. Your role in your child's life is completely different to a wife. A wife you can't be a wife to this person and a mother to the same person. They have their own mom. So let her do her things. If she wants to do certain things for her son, let her do them. She's her mom. I am not in any way, shape, or form trying to discredit experiences that I know a lot of women have lived and have experienced based on this. Mothers-in-law and daughters-in-law, they don't get along. But I think it's so common because it's almost expected that you go into this family and we shouldn't get along. We need to break this cycle. We need to teach women to respect each other's spaces, each other's boundaries. You are not your husband's mother. Mother, you are not your husband's wife. Know your place in your son's life. Don't make his wife miserable just because you have whatever feelings that you might have. Same for the wife. Don't make your mother-in-law's life miserable just because you have whatever feelings you might have. You guys cannot compete. All you are doing is making this poor man stress because now he has to pick sides. He cannot pick a side. What the mom can give him, the wife can't. What the wife can give him, the mom can't. He cannot pick a side. So learn to honor your husband. Mothers, learn to honor your sons. Because that way, I swear to God, if you do things just for the sake of this one person, your relationship is going to be beautiful. You'll get along wonderfully. You'll understand each other's boundaries. You'll understand what the other likes. You'll understand what the other doesn't like. And you'll respect it. Be kind to one another. I really need women to break this cycle. It's disgusting. It is just disgusting. All right? So that was for me, for the women. I don't know what men's situations are. That's why I didn't really touch on that, but it's more for women because we have this belief that mothers and daughters, blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. Let us, for the sake of this man who loves us both, just be married. That's it. That's it. Another point in this family matters, in-laws, they don't need to be at war Okay, don't put your family against his family. Don't put his family against your family. Don't go against their siblings. Siblings, stop going against the in-law. Like, let's just stop. We don't need to be at war. We don't even need to like each other. We don't even need to hang out. Just be polite. Just smile. We only see each other once a year during family events, and that's it. We don't need to be at war. We don't need to be against one another, you know. But here's one thing that I think is more important, and it's not necessarily shoving everything that I said above to the bin, but I think this helps. Follow your partner's lead on how to deal with their family. I know my family more than what my husband knows my family. So when there's certain situations, I'll tell him, step back, I'll handle this. The same way with him. He knows his family more than I know his family. So when there's a certain situation, he'll say, no, I will handle this, I will talk. Or sometimes it's a situation of, this is what you're going to do from now on. If anyone says, I'm going to say. The same way here. This is how we're going to do things from now on. If anyone says, this is how, you get what I'm saying? Y'all need to follow your partner's lead on how to deal with their family. You don't know these people. Don't forget that you're barely getting to know your partner. Now you think you know their whole family. You don't know them people. So follow the leader. Follow your partner's lead on how to engage with their family. Trust me, it's a smooth sailing. It's a smooth sailing. Number 7. Be honest. Why are you getting married? What is your intention in a marriage? What is your intention? Sit on that a little bit. Just think. You've thought. Why is this important to know? Because the reason why you are getting married is the reason why you will stay married. That's simple. Whatever reason you decide that I'm getting married because that is why you're staying married. So, consider the option. Will that last forever? Whatever it is that you're saying, this intention is why I'm getting married. This reason is why, this thing is why I'm making this decision. Is that thing permanent? Is that thing forever? If that thing disappears, what else do you have in that marriage? What reason do you have to stay in that marriage? And if that reason is something that can disappear, should you even be getting married to this person to begin with? If you are getting married for money, what if tomorrow this person loses all their money? What else are you there for? So if they lose their money, what is the point of bothering to get married? Right? You never thought of it, right? Not that way. You never thought of it that way. You thought, I'm going to get married for money and I'm going to be rich. And then the money goes, and then what? I thought so. So be realistic about your intentions. Why are you getting married? Are you getting married to impress people? And then those people start saying, yo, she's married now. She's this, she's that. Now you don't have the validation of those people. Once that validation disappears, what do you have? What do you have that is keeping you there? Nothing. So why bother to begin with? If whatever it is, whatever reason you have, or whatever reason you've chosen to be the one for you to get married, if that is conditional, if it is, and when I say conditional, look, guys, let's end this here. There's no such thing as unconditional love. Throw that in the trash, all right? There's always a condition to anything, all right? But if this one reason, whatever reason, the main reason why you are with this person, you're deciding to get married, if that can be discarded just like that, if it can disappear, and that's all you have, why waste the money? Why waste the time? Why waste the court's time? Why go through the process of signing, changing your surname, and then you have to divorce and then change your surname? And then why bother? It's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of admin. It's just a waste. Because then tomorrow you're going to be miserable. You're going to be upset. You're going to be unhappy. Oh my God. Because you're not honest with yourself about the true intentions of you deciding to marry this person. Just that. Be honest with yourself and analyze your intention. Is it collapsible? Is it not? Is it worth it? Is it not? You decide. But tomorrow, you don't get to complain because you're an accountable bitch. That's what I've taught you, to be accountable for your decisions. And you just move the hell on. That's it. Simple and clear. So, number 7, be honest as to why you are doing this. Your intention in a marriage is very important. Now, last but not necessarily the least important of these points. And look, these are just 8 of many. Okay, I just couldn't think of them at the top of my head. But number 8, it is not the solution to any of your relationship problems or your personal problems. I'll say it again. Marriage is not the solution to any of your relationship problems or your personal problems. So don't fall in love with the potential. Fall in love with what you see in front of you right now. This last line I got from my friend's daddy, Bunolo's dad. She always says that this is what her dad says. And I think it's beautiful. Don't fall in love with the potential. Fall in love with what you see right in front of you right now. What that means is that, 1, if, for example, here's an example, and actually I'm going to make this I'm going to use myself as an example here. I got pregnant before marriage. I got pregnant in my first year of university. That's when I got pregnant. And at the time, my husband and I had been together for probably 5-6 years since high school, right? So I was like, yeah, I'm going to leave my school and I'm going to take care of my baby. My dad was like, bitch, no, you're not going to do that. You're going to study. You're going to finish this degree. The baby's going to stay home and we're going to take care of the child. And through that time, we were still young. We were still going through school. We were still going through the first stages of getting a job and so forth. And we hadn't necessarily explored our youth, And this is when we were doing it. Thankfully, my parents, took my boy in and they raised him. And my dad once said to me during that time, he said, because traditionally, now to explain to everybody outside of Africa, every African knows this, but every people outside of Africa, what we do traditionally in Africans, different cultures do it differently, but the essence of the act is the same. When you fall pregnant as a woman, your baby daddy's family needs to come to your home and claim the child, accept or deny the child, rather. All right? Some people deny them and maybe they don't even need to come to your house. But other people, the ones who accept the child, they'll come to the home and say, look, we heard that there's a child of ours here and we came to claim them. That basically means that even if you guys are not married, right, the family has accepted the responsibility to this child and that they're going to play a role in this child's life. So you don't have to convince people who your baby daddy is. The family has already accepted this. And my dad, during the time when the family came over to our house to do the situation for my son and accept my boy and all of that, my dad said, don't get things confused. Here, they came for the child. They didn't come for you. So don't think that just because they've accepted the child and they've paid the child, the damages, whatever, for the child, that you are also part of that. When you guys decide to get married, they're going to come again and say that they came and they saw you and they want you. And that was Very eye-opening, because we thought in our youth at the time that getting married was the right thing and we needed to do it and all of that. At that time, it wasn't. We were young. We were going through like, sorry, I giggle because I was going to say we were going through puberty, but practically, I mean, I feel like puberty ends at 25, okay? But we were going through so much during that time that we were not mentally ready for marriage. Had we gotten married then, I don't think we would have made it this far, you know? And that is basically how I want to explain it's not the solution to your problems. Don't think that if you have a child with someone and you guys are going through shit, that the marriage is going to solve that. It's not. Marriage, how I explain it to my friends all the time, it literally is you're in a relationship with this person, and then tomorrow you guys go to home affairs or whatever it is that you officiate weddings. You sign a paper, and that paper just tells the government that you guys have decided to be life partners. Whatever bullshit was there before you guys signed this piece of paper is not automatically going to stay behind on this line of this side of you guys having a signed piece of paper. It comes with you. So you need to learn to solve your problems before you decide to get married. It's not going to automatically erase the situation just because you guys have signed a piece of paper. As for don't fall in love with the potential, fall in love with what's right in front of you. This one I'd also like to really address to women, but I think as I speak, I might come with examples on how I can relate this to men. But many times, girls, you look at a guy and you're like, wow, he's so cool. He's got all this potential. He's going to be such a great, whatever, businessman, successful, good dad, or whatever, right? Because of the things he says, because of what you think he will do in the future. And you focus so much on what you think he's going to do for you in the future, and you blind yourselves to what he's doing right now. What can you do right now to be a successful man in the future? You cannot be lazy, sitting in your ass at home every day, day in and day out, and tell me that you're going to be a millionaire. That is what when they say falling in love with the potential. You're falling in love with the potential. You're not falling in love with who is right in front of you. In front of you, you have a lazy bum. You have a guy that's unmotivated. You have a guy that is not willing to sacrifice his time to do the bare minimum to achieve his own personal dreams. That is the reality of who you have in front of you. You have someone who says to you, I'm going to be better. Once my financials are okay, I'm going to stop drinking. I'm going to be less stressed and I'm not going to hit you anymore. You focus so much on that, but you forget that every time he goes out and he gets frustrated, he comes home and he takes out his inconsistency on his own life, on you. He takes out his shame on you. He takes out his failures on you. You're not falling in love with the abuser that is with you right now. You're falling in love with the guy that says, just bear with me, baby. Once I have money, I'm not going to be as stressed, because you've told yourself that he only hits you when he's stressed. You have fallen in love with the guy that says, once I've got money, I am going to marry you and we're going to raise our child together. It's going to be wonderful. You are not looking at the guy that's right in front of you and has 5 other kids with 5 other women. Yours is the 6th child in this equation. He is 25. He does bare minimum work. Minimum wage work. And he somehow has chosen you to be the one for him to spend the rest of his life with. You're not looking at the responsible person, the guy that doesn't calculate risks, the guy that is not prioritizing his family. You are falling in love with the guy who loves to fuck around. You're falling in love with the guy who likes to make empty promises, not the one that wants to be a good dad and make sure to use a condom every time he goes out and has sex with someone. He doesn't make sure. You're not falling in love with the guy that makes sure to not sleep with someone because he knows he already has 1 child. You're the 6th girl in this equation. This is the guy that you have fallen in love with. You guys need to be realistic about what is in front of you. Don't fall for potential, fall for reality. Okay. And this is basically where I would like to close off today's show. I couldn't think of an example for men. I'm so sorry, but I avoid speaking on guys, for guys, to guys, because I'm not a guy, so I can't really relate. But I would like for girls to like just fucking be realistic, okay? But yeah, this is it for today, guys. Things that you should know before you decide to get married. Yay! We've made it through another episode, guys. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. While you're there, please head on over to iTunes and leave us a review. And make sure that you share this podcast to anyone that you think will find this interesting. And don't forget to subscribe and follow so that you don't miss any new uploads. And also stop by our website, www.neonbloom.co.za. You can catch up on other podcasts in the network. So yeah, guys, that's it for today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I enjoyed our chat so much. Remember, always lead with kindness. We are all going through shit right now. We don't need another piece of shit to make our lives even more miserable. See you guys next week. I love you so much. Farewell, my